Good day, I'm Siva Shantini. My metric number is 272819. Today I'm going to present my part from tutorial 5, which is question 1. So the question is, Toppy Enterprise is noted for an exceptional impressive line of one size fits all men hats. Toppy has established the following selling and distribution support activity cost pools and their corresponding activity drivers for the year 2020. So, based on the activity, which is marketing, which is cost Rm 160,000, and the cost driver is Rm 1,450,000 of sales. Then customer service, which costs 70,000, and the cost driver, which is 10,000 customers. Then order execution, which costs 5,000 and 200 orders. Then warehousing, which costs 15,000, and the cost driver is 125 product line. So moving on to the first question, which is A. Determine the activity cost driver rate for each of the 4 selling and distribution activities. So the answer should be activity cost driver rate for marketing is 11.03% of sales. The calculation is Rm 160,000 divided by Rm 1,450,000. And the second will be activity cost driver rate for customer service. The answer is 7 ringgit per customer, and the calculation would be Rm 70,000 divided 10,000. And next, activity cost driver rate for order execution. The answer will be Rm 25 ringgit per order, and the calculation will be Rm 5,000 divided 200. And the last one, activity cost driver rate for warehousing. The answer will be Rm 120 per order. Calculation will be Rm 15,000 divided by 125. Next is the question B. Question B requires under what circumstances is appropriate to use each of the activity cost drivers. The answer is for marketing, using 11.03% of stimulated sales is appropriate when management wants to limit marketing costs to a budgeted proportion to sales. Using the number of customers for customer service is appropriate when the customer service costs is similar enough to use the average for all customers. Using the number of orders for order execution is appropriate when all orders are sufficiently alike in terms of resources used that they can be averaged. Using the number of product lines for warehousing is appropriate when each product line requires similar proportions of the warehousing effects. Finally, the question C, which requires describe at least one possible negative behavioral consequence for each of the 4 activity cost drivers. The answer is for marketing, using 11.03% of sales limits the marketing activities as product line wise marketing cost analysis will not be undertaken. Using the number of customer for customer service can lead to value of the service rendered to the customer will not be distinguished. Using the number of orders for order execution can result in valuable orders will not get priority. Then, using the number of product lines for warehousing can lead warehouse space will not be economized. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, my name is Muhammad Ahmad Syahmi bin Sulaiman and my metric number is 272829. So I will present about the question 2A in tutorial 5. So for question 2A tutorial 5, Syarikat Wawasan uses the following activity rates from its activity-based costing to assign overhead costs to products. So we have 3 activity cost pools, which is setting up batches, which is RM30.11 per batch, assembling products RM3.04 per assembly hour, and processing customer orders RM81.86 per customer order. So we have data concerning 2 products appears as below, product WG99 and product QN33. So for number of batches, we have 74 number batches of product WG99, and for product QN33, we have 26 number of batches. Okay, for number of assembly hours, we have 239 for product WG99 And for product QN33, 208 assembly hours. And for number of customer orders, for product LebG 99 is 72 customer orders. And for product QN33 is 5 customer orders. Okay, for the question A, the question required to calculate how much overhead cost will be assigned to product LebG 99 using the company's activity-based costing system. So, show your calculations. Okay, for the calculation, we should list the costs one by one. So, for the setting up batch, we calculate M30 per 11 cent per batch times 74 batches. We get 2,228 ringgit 14 cent. Okay, so for assembling products, we have RM3 ringgit 44 cent per assembly hour times 239 assembly hours, we get 726 ringgit 56 cents. And for processing customer order, we have RM 81 ringgit 86 cents per customer order times 72 customer orders, we get 5,893 ringgit 92 cents. So for total overhead cost is we total for three activity cost base cost, so we get 8,848 ringgit 62 cents. Okay, now for question B, which is question required to how much overhead cost would be assigned to product QN33 using the company's activity-based costing system. So, show your calculation. Okay, the method is same with like the question in A, which is we list the cost one by one. So, for setting up batch, 30 ringgit 11 cent per batch times 26 batches, we get 782 ringgit 80 cents. 86 cents. So for assembly products, we 3 ringgit 44 cent per assembly hour times 208 assembly hours, we get 632 ringgit 32 cent. And for processing customers order, 81 ringgit 86 cent per customer order times 5 customer orders, we get 409 ringgit 30 cents. So we total the three of activity-based costing, and we get 1,834 ringgit 48 cents.
Assalamualaikum, I am Nur Izzati binti Zulkifli and my matric number is 272813. So I will present tutorial 5 for question 2B. Let me read the question first. Farouk and Ramlah, a cost hunting firm, use an activity-based costing in which there are 3 activity cost pool. The company has provided the following data concerning its cost and activity-based costing system, which is cost for wages and salary, travel expense and other expense. The total for each cost is 860,000. The 3 activity cost pool are working on engagement, business development and other. As we can see, the table show all 3 activity cost pool are allocated based on wages and salary, travel expense and other expense by percentage. So the question is, how much cost in total would be allocated to the working on engagement, business development and other activity cost pool? So let's see how to solve the question. So this is the answer. All 3 parts can be answered using a first allocation of cost. Okay, the step is you should know how much the total cost for wages and salary, travel expense and other expense first. Then I will explain more detail how to calculate in next slide. A. How much cost in total will be allocated to the working on engagement? First, you should know how much the percentage are used for each cost. For example, in working on engagement, 40% for wages and salary, 55% for travel expense and another 15% for other expense. Then you can calculate it. For example, 40% times with 560,000, 55% times with 140,000 and another 15% times with 160,000. B. How much cost in total would be allocated to the business development? First, you should know how much the percentage are used for its cost. For example, in business development, 30% for wages and salary, 35% for travel expense, and another 45% for other expense. Then you can calculate it. For example, 30% time with 560,000, 35% time with 140,000, and another 45% time with 160,000. C. How much cost in total will be allocated to the others? First, you should know how much the percentage are used for its cost. For example, in others, 30% for wages and salary, 10% for travel expense, and another 40% for other expense. Then you can calculate it. For example, 30% time with 560,000, 10% time with 140,000, and 40% time with 160,000.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And hi, I'm Muhammad Nabil bin Muhammad Haidi. My meeting number 272704. Okay, I will explain about the question 3A. Determine the unit product cost of each of the company's two products under the traditional costing system. Okay, the first one we must search the predetermined overhead (POR). Okay, the formula is total overhead cost divide with the total direct labor hours. Okay, in the question we find that 2,870,100 is the total overhead cost and divide with the 54,000, and the answer is 50 ringgit 50 cent per direct labor hours. And then we do unit product cost under traditional costing system. We do the box. In that box, it have the direct material, direct labor, manufacturing overhead, and unit product cost, and with the two companies. Okay, the direct material for the B21P company 21 ringgit 10 cent, and the 0 and the O11L 47 ringgit 30 cent. Dari labor hour 16 ringgit 80 cent. O11L 37 ringgit 80 cent. And the manufacturing overhead, we must calculate at the 0.8 times with the amount that we found just now that POR. So 0.8 times with the 50 ringgit 50 cent, and we will get 42 ringgit 52 cent. And the next company 1.8 times with the 53 ringgit 50 cent, and we will get 95 ringgit 67 cent. And the total unit product cost for the B21P is the 80 ringgit 42 cent, and the O11L is the 180 ringgit 77 cent. So thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azim Irfan bin Rizal. My magic number is 272848. So let's move to the next question, which is question 3B. The question is, determine the unit product cost of each of the company's two products under activity-based costing system. Before this, in question 3A, they use the traditional costing system. As we know, in traditional costing system, to determine the predetermined overhead rate, POR, they use the plain white overhead rate. But in the activity-based costing system, they use the departmental overhead rate. Another differences between the traditional costing system and activity-based costing system is the manufacturing overhead cost. But the prime cost, which is direct materials and the direct labors, are still the same. So, first thing first, we need to calculate the predetermined overhead rate. As we know, the formula of predetermined overhead rate is the total overhead cost divided by the total unit of production. In this company, we have 3 departments, which is assembling products, preparing batches, and the milling. So let's go through one by one. First, the assembling products. The total overhead cost for assembling product is 1,404,000 ringgit divided by 54,000 units. So we get 26 ringgit per direct labor hour. For preparing batches, the total overhead cost is 429 and 300 ringgit divided by 2,862 units. So we get 150 ringgit per batches. And lastly, the milling. The total overhead cost is 1,036 and 800 ringgit divided by 2,592 units. So we get 400 per machine hours. Let's go to the last part, which is to calculate the unit cost of product. Like I said earlier, the prime cost, which is the direct material cost, and the direct labor cost are still the same. But the difference is the manufacturing overhead cost. Let's go through one by one. For the assembling product, for the job B21P, the PO that we just calculated earlier is 26 ringgit. So, 26 ringgit times 36,000 units, so we get 936,000 ringgit. While for the job O11L is 26 ringgit times 18,000 units, so we get 468,000 ringgit. For the preparing batches, the PO that we just calculated earlier, we got 150 ringgit. So, for the job B21P, 150 ringgit times 972 units, so we get 155 and 800 ringgit. While for the job O11L, is 150 ringgit times 1,890 units, so we get 283 and 500 ringgit. And lastly, the milling. For the job B21P, the PO that we just calculated earlier, we get 400 ringgit. So 400 ringgit times 1,728 unit, so we get 691 and 200 ringgit. Well, for the job O11L, 400 times 864 unit, so we got 355 and 600 ringgit. So to get the total manufacturing cost, we need to add the prime cost and manufacturing overhead cost. So for the job B21P, the total manufacturing cost is 3,478,500 ringgit. While for the job O11L, the total manufacturing cost is 1,948,100 ringgit. So we need to divide it by unit of production to get the unit cost of product. The unit production for the job B21P is 45,000 unit. While for the job O11L, the unit of production is 10,000 unit. So the unit cost of product for for the job B21P, the total manufacturing cost is 3,478,500 ringgit divided by 45,000 units, so we get 77 ringgit and 30 cents. While for the unit cost of product for the job O11L, the total manufacturing cost which is 1,958,100 ringgit divided by 10,000 units, so we get 194 and 81 ringgit.